Let me get back on this.
Okay, it says this meeting is being live streamed.
Yeah, I think we are live. Let me just get back onto the screen that I need. Hold on. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. Okay. We're definitely live. So
Nice.
give me 1 second. I just need
Take your
to
time. Take your
yeah.
time.
I will. I'll try. All right. Okay. And then we'll get into this. Okay. Okay, everybody. Thank you for your patience. This is the Bad Slave Podcast, episode 4. And today we've got a special guest from the United States of America. We've got Monique Gregory. And yeah. So let's shall we start from the beginning?
What's up?
So where are you from in America?
Yes. Greetings. I'm coming to you live from Mississippi and also by way of New Orleans, Louisiana. Shout out to the Calliope and International Bub. Those are like International Bub is one of the hottest trending artists in New Orleans. They have a very big music scene out that way as well. So
when I was young, I was obsessed with No Limit.
Okay, and that's from the project, the Calliope that I just named is No Limit for sure. That's the third word.
Yeah, my whole bedroom was full of the posters of all the different artists. Mia X, Silk the Shocker. I had everyone on my wall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my whole room, my whole wall was No Limit.
They had me as well in the 90s going crazy for sure.
I still bang that shit now. I still love my Master P.
Yes. Especially like, what's your favorite? I like Hootie Hoo. Hootie Hoo.
I did like that song. That was a good one. I like do you know what it is? One of my favorites is About It.
About It. I love About It.
The original.
If you About It.
Yeah, like that song is like there's so much
New Orleans,
there's so much there's so much hustle in that song. Yeah, no, that song is big. And then obviously
I love it so much. The energy and the vibe. Yeah, you gotta be about it for sure. And we still about it.
I see. Do you know what I mean? I used to be a big Mystical fan as well. Like Mystical, he's done some crazy stuff as of
there you go. There you have it. It's so many of the people we used to look up to, and now we can't really give them the same celebration that we used to do.
Of course, and it's a shame because the Mind of Mystical was one of my albums.
Oh my gosh, Mystical! It Ain't My Fault. He had so many Danger, all those good ones.
He did.
He had some.
And in a way as well with Mystical, I feel like he caught his first charge, and the public kind of let him off. They let him slide, and let him back into the game. It was a mistake. But 2-3 times later, that's it.
It becomes an MO at that point. Yeah.
That's it.
And then when you look at the whole thing, it's not just Mystical. It's kind of becomes a systemic issue.
Of course. We'll get into this definitely. Definitely get into this. Because there's been a lot. There's been a lot going on all in the mainstream, in the community in general, just worldwide. So
on a micro and a macro level, 100%.
Yes,
100%. On a micro and a macro, big and small.
Yes, definitely. So did you grow up in New Orleans then?
I've lived all over. I'm Colombian and African American, so my father's from Bogota, Colombia.
Nice. Yeah. So
Yeah, and he was actually in the country illegally smuggling exotic pets
exotic
and
pets.
doing yes,
Can he
yes.
still get any?
Well, I mean, I don't have contact with anybody. I'm,
Yeah.
how, what I'm on.
Fair
But
enough. Fair enough.
yeah, yeah, but so I was born in New Jersey, but I grew up in Montana, and I also at 12 I moved to Houma, Louisiana, which is about an hour and a half outside of New Orleans.
Okay. Yeah. Of
But
course.
as a young adult, I was very into modeling and all sorts of things in the music scene. So that brought me all over America as far as the United States go and even international. And
Yeah.
I did spend in my early 20s, oh gosh, New Orleans, Uptown, the Third Ward, where like Master P and them are from. That was
Mm.
definitely my stomping grounds. Lots of good stories and times of there.
I
And
hear
then
that.
I still have friends and family, as far as family being the people that we choose in that area. So anytime you guys want to come to New Orleans, I'll show you all the best spots and especially get you some good collaborations too.
Yeah. Okay. Come on. Come on. That's what's up,
Yeah.
man. So were you making music yourself as well?
Um, Not that kind. No, if I was gonna make music, I mean, I possibly could. I
Mm.
have never recorded a audio track, but I do praise and worship in my own time,
Of
even
course.
not recorded.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Of course.
I possibly could do that. I've had people tell me I have singing capabilities before.
Yeah. 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 Fair enough, man. So did you grow up? Did you grow up with your family in the South, or were they mostly up in New Jersey?
Okay, so yeah, from my post, you can probably tell. Okay, so it was like a weird situation because I had a toxic mom, and she had me at 15 and was very, very unstable, and so also I don't know if that was if it was purposeful or neglectful, but I moved around a lot as a child, like getting
Yes.
pulled out in the middle of the year to move. So it was just a lot of instability between like living with my mom and my grandma.
Yeah.
So I was born in New Jersey. I grew up in Montana, which is like predominantly white.
Yeah.
And then at 12 years old, I moved down south to the Gulf Coast, like Mississippi. I also lived in Houston.
Okay.
Louisiana, and Mississippi all make up the Gulf Coast. So that's to me, that's the best place. I've lived all over the East
Yeah.
Coast, West Coast, up north. The South is the best place in America for sure.
It definitely seems that way. Like when
Really?
even mu-
After
even
looking out,
musically,
you said musically they run it, huh?
yeah, pretty much. Pretty. You know what it is? Don't get me wrong. Yeah, Chicago's got things going on, but the way they're going on, it don't make you want to go to Chicago. You understand?
Okay, the way they drill, it makes you feel like you're just gonna get shot immediately.
Well, what else? What else? It's like I never knew much. I never knew much music from Chicago. I knew like Twister, Common, and these artists. Chicago was never a city where the music scene was big. It's only since Chief Keef and all that.
And, yeah, and some of the artists probably don't. Is Kanye West from Chicago?
He is, yeah, he is. But he done a lot of his work in New York, I believe, because he was
Yeah, he
working under
doesn't
Jay
really
Z.
rep it either. He doesn't really
Not
put on.
really,
He don't. Yeah.
not really. But so yeah. But as far as Rap a Lot Records, No
Yes,
Limit.
to me, I feel like the South is the most gangster out of.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That is true. Of course it is. That's true. I only really in America. I've only really been to New York because I have some
Okay.
family in New York, so I've been around New
Oh,
York.
yeah.
But
New York is good. It's cold. Did you go in the warm time
I
or
went.
was it cold?
Do you know what I went? When I went, it was like spring, so it was kind of warming up. Because I remember, yeah, me and my brother we've gone over there. First place we've gone to, it's an Avirex shop, right? So now we finally got an Averex, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like I'm wearing this Averex regardless. And then the sun came out, and it does actually get kind of hot in New York when the sun comes out. So, but I would walk around with this big heavy Averex, but I didn't want to take it off. So
Yeah, you
yeah.
looked good, but you were actually like hot, but you had
Oh
to
yeah,
represent.
definitely.
I
You know,
I do love that about New York. They have the fashion district, and
definitely.
did you guys now they have underground Jamaican parties that go hard up there too. Have you
In
did
New
you guys
York,
did you
yeah,
go any?
yeah. I went a long time ago. I haven't been back since.
Same,
Yeah,
same, of course, of course.
the Caribbean's going crazy in Jamaica now.
Oh, and they're currently right now going crazy.
Mm,
What's
yeah.
going on?
No, I'm just wondering, is that what's happening? Because what it is, obviously, the UK, we got a lot of Jamaican heritage people here, but over time, it's quieted down. So the reggae scene, and you know what I mean, a lot of it's quieted down in the last. So even though it's there, it's not, it's being overshadowed by other things that are popular. Whereas back
You
in,
know that's an interesting point because it looks like hip hop as a whole is kind of being phased out.
oh, 100%. And that's the only reason why the UK has got so many rappers now, because even though it's crazy because there's a lot of big rappers in the UK, but the UK, it never really grasped hip hop culture. There was a few people, don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing the old school guys that was before me, because they all, they kept it real. But as time's gone on, we got good rappers, but hip hop as a culture is completely phased out. The next generation haven't got a clue who started it, where it came from, nothing. So, this is the only issue I have with British rap and Britain, because Britain was one of the last places to really embrace hip hop as well. You have like
Where were
France.
you born at? Were you born in Britain or where were you born?
I was born here. I was born.
Okay.
I was born here, and my parents were born here. My grandparents were born in the Caribbean.
So are you Europe? Did you consider yourself to be European?
No,
What are
I'm
what are you?
I'm a European.
You
I'm
are
not
you
European.
European?
I don't
Are
class
you
myself. I don't class myself as European, because because
what are
because
you?
because Britain isn't even in the EU anymore anyway. I
Okay. Are
I
you
class
British?
myself as, like, I class myself. Yeah, if someone says what are you, I'd say I'm Jamaican. Yeah, but a Jamaican person will say you're not Jamaican, you're English. Um, a British person might say I'm British, or they might say I'm not British, depending on their view of British. So, um, yeah, I'll
You
definitely,
still identify with Jamaican?
yeah, identify as
Okay,
Jamaican, definitely,
that's
100%.
good.
Yeah, yeah,
They have
definitely.
a strong Caribbean presence here where I'm currently located in
Really?
Mississippi.
Oh,
Yes. Oh my God. I worked at several Caribbean restaurants, so I know I love patois. I love like wagwan and white
mm-mm,
pre.
mm-mm.
I love and we have yard parties here every
Okay.
Friday and play
Mm,
dominoes. So there's a strong Caribbean presence in culture here.
nice, nice.
I think I think a lot I think a lot of it seems like a lot of Jamaicans have spread out if they have the means. It seems like a lot of people have gone out to other places.
Oh, 100%. You'll find Jamaicans everywhere. I was in Norway, and we ran into a
Mhm.
Jamaican man, you know.
Oh, that's so bold. I love the way they go any and everywhere. I
Mm.
love that. Same
But
with
he
people
even
from Brooklyn.
he said
Same.
to us, though, he said when you go back to England, he goes, don't tell no other Jamaican people that I'm here. He said,
Oh goodness, he
he was
don't
like,
want
don't,
them to know
yeah,
about
he was
it.
like,
He
he was like,
don't.
the last thing we need is for them to come and mash it up for me. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, cool.
Yes.
But that was like 20 years ago. So I'm sure he's cool now. You know what I mean? Go to Norway, Jamaican people, if you want. Um, so yeah, but you do find Jamaican people everywhere. I was in Germany. I quite a few Jamaican, not loads, but a few, and a lot of African Americans in Germany as well.
Oh yeah, for
Like,
sure.
yeah, where else? I have an uncle who lives in Denmark as well. So he's one of the
And
first
so is
Jamaican.
he? Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a first. I think he was born in Jamaica, but he ended up in Denmark, and he was one of the first Jamaicans to learn Danish and this, that, and the other. It was a big thing in those days. You know what I mean? A black man speaking Danish. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, and
Yes.
and then my Dominican side, I've got in Canada. There's some people up there. There's some literally everywhere, like America.
Same
So
everywhere. New
yeah,
York,
yeah.
a lot of Dominicans in
We're not
in
that Dominican though, innit? You know, there's a two people get it confused, innit? Because you got in see, we say Dominican in the UK.
oh
So
Dominican.
yeah, so that's a small island. That's a small island in the Caribbean. A lot
Yeah.
of people,
Is
a
it
lot of
is
people.
it is it just is it on the other side of Haiti?
No, 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 no. It's not that one.
Oh,
If it was, we would be with the Haitians. We would be in the Haitian. We would be with the Haitians
good. I'm
causing some
liking it
bullshit.
more and more.
Yeah, but
Tell
no,
me
no.
more.
Yeah, so it's a small. It's near to It's in the Eastern Caribbean, so it's a very small island.
Oh,
It's a former French colony. It was French and then British, so it's a bit of a mixed Creole. Um, so yeah,
that's
but
what we speak in Louisiana is Creole.
very similar. Well, what it was in Louisiana, you had a lot of Haitians go over there back in the day. You see what I'm saying? So you had a lot of Haitians, and I only found this out not long ago, to be honest. I'm not trying to teach people about their country and shit, but I
Mhm.
found this out not long ago, and I thought that makes a lot of sense because I always found that, and we always say this in the UK as well. We say that people from the southern states, they're more like Caribbean people. You see what I'm
Yes,
saying? So
yes.
we
We
understand. So
love
of
like the hot, spicy food. Do you still
course,
like spicy food?
yeah, 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 of
Yes,
course.
yeah,
But
same.
you
We
have
love
different. You have like soul food and that. We don't get much of this over in the UK, but we get obviously Caribbean food, but obviously soul food. I can't even remember what you eat, but
collard greens,
that's
all
the
that.
one. That's it.
Yes,
That's it.
yes.
Mm. So
Sweet
yeah, man.
potatoes.
Yeah, all of that.
Yes.
Shit, I've
Yeah.
heard people rapping about this shit for years. Do you know what I mean? It's just some of it I've never had a chance to eat.
Now I really enjoy Protege. Do you know Proto?
I
Do you
do.
know?
I
Okay.
I saw him live a few years ago, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw him live.
I
It was at a
I
festival in the.
wanted to go so bad. One time I bought tickets to a concert he was supposed to come to in Florida, but he
Mm,
canceled and I was very disappointed. But he's one of my favorite current reggae artists.
he is good.
Him and
He
Coffee.
Yeah, you know, Chronics as well. Because with
Yes,
reggae, I listen to a lot of the old reggae, and I feel like a lot of this is no diss to the current Jamaican music scene either, but I feel like a lot of this, like with a lot of music, a lot of the soul has gone from it,
of
and I think
course. It's become, yeah, a lot of it's become just like bump and grind.
basically,
Um
yeah,
but no, did Chronic say he was retiring? I thought I heard something about Chronic sometimes saying,
I I heard
have you ever
something
heard
about that.
that?
I heard something about that. I didn't look into it though. I did
I
see
was
something.
thinking that he didn't like the way the music industry politics. What I perceived from that was it was kind of conflicting with his values, was what my interpretation of.
Possibly, because
I'm not sure.
to be honest, Chronic has been considering Chronic here is a big reggae artist. He has been quite quiet for a few years. You know, he's not been in the public eye much. And I even read something about him not being. So I don't think, you know, that could be it. I don't think he's a big fan of the music industry. The music industry is a devilish construct. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like enough people like the funny thing is a lot of my friends a lot of my friends have spent a lot of their life in and out of the music industry, so they know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, people know what I'm saying, in it. The music industry is fucking demonic, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
who
it's it. it's better to just, if you can, make independent music and stay, and the tools are all there for you. And the industry comes along once you go viral and get your numbers up anyways. They're just vultures.
Yeah, 100%. They steal your ideas as well. You know,
Yeah.
steal your
Yeah,
ideas. But you,
especially when artists send in their demo tapes or try to get discovered, they just take all the creativity from them and give them to somebody else.
yeah, that's it. That's it, man.
Yeah. Yes,
That's, you know,
indeed.
even Big apparently he stole from another artist from the south called Notorious B1 or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, wow. I
Yeah,
could believe it because the South, they have so much unspoken talent
yeah,
down
yeah,
here. Beyonce steals from them. A lot of people do. Even
yeah.
on YouTube with creators. I mean, um, I've heard people stealing from smaller channels as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's literally, and they'll make money off it as well. If you don't catch them, they'll make money. You know. So yeah, man.
Yes. Yes. So yeah. So you have do you have any music out right now? Like as far as
I've got I've got loads of stuff I've made I've got basically I've been releasing music since God since 2002, right?
if somebody wanted to discover Terra Slim and they wanted to know what song would you recommend just for you gotta make
Oh,
them a fan
good idea.
in one
Good
song and win
question.
them over. What song would you recommend?
Oh, that's a very hard question, you know. Jesus. Um, what one would I recommend? Um, all right then. See, my new album is called Return to Sender, and there's a song on there called To the Start of the Board. Yeah, so give that a listen. That's just on the top of
To
my
the
head. But
start of the board?
yeah, it's called was it? I think it's called that. God, I can't even remember
Like
my
a
own.
pawn? I'm almost thinking of like a pawn or a chess piece
Sort of
when you say
basically, yeah. That is pretty
okay.
much it. Like it's kind of
Nice.
that is the metaphor for the song. Like on a chessboard, there's a lot of board
Yes.
game
Oh,
metaphors. A lot of metaphors to snakes and ladders. Life being like snakes and ladders. You know what I mean? You go up the ladders and then get brought down by snakes. So you know, there's a lot of these sort of metaphors in the album. That you know.
that's
I was going to
good.
ask you when you was growing up, yeah. What was your family dynamics like? Was it like
I mean,
was it
hellacious.
chaotic? Or I know you did say a bit earlier. Yeah,
Yeah, it was horrible. I mean, I don't know. A single mother household for sure. Female led
yeah,
and Jezebel spirit led.
yeah,
Just chaos. I'm a mother with different baby daddies and
yeah,
um is also being parentified at a young age.
yeah.
Um I'm the oldest, so I had a lot of responsibility for as long as I can remember for my siblings and different things. So not that wonderful, but
Do you?
it's good because it gave me a platform to grow from and to build upon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it? Do you think it was your mum's age because she had you so young? Do you think that was a
No, no,
no?
no, no. It was definitely because I mean, we're young and we have good heads on our shoulders and strive to do right and to do well. And it was the abuse. So it was there
Yeah,
was abuse there, and that at the level of when it comes to CSA and things like that,
yeah.
there's full awareness that you're crossing boundaries.
I see.
But
Yeah,
for
yeah,
whatever reason, the self-image or whatever my mother and her cohorts they esteem their needs as being greater
I see. You see.
than protecting the child. And it's amazing, we see I'm a survivor. Thankfully, I lived through it. But we see so many stories and reports on the news of even people of of our community, but really all colors and races will off their children. But we see a high incidence of that. Like children are almost disposable outside of meeting the parents' needs. I don't know. It's just crazy how many people have children for their own benefit, and the child is secondary, if even a consideration.
Do you know what it is? Because not to say I had a bad childhood, yeah, but from
Okay.
being from a Caribbean background, so there's certain things which are normalized within our community, yeah. So, for instance, yeah, if we were bad, we would get beatings off our parents, yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I would never sit there and say my pet. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't. I wouldn't class it as abuse. I class it as discipline, me personally. But then
Oh,
obviously,
same.
my parents got it worse from their parents. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes,
They got it, and it goes back
yes.
and back. So is it? And
But
then, but me personally, I couldn't do that. I couldn't. You know what I mean? I couldn't get a belt and lash my kids.
oh,
Do you know what I mean?
good.
But I think it's like the more
You're
time goes on, the more generations go on, the more I don't know, because it's like I said, I've seen it with other relatives and stuff. Yeah, I've seen people hold serious beatings. You know what I mean? Like with a belt where you could have just given him 1, 2. I've seen him. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say any names or anything like that. You know what I mean? I ain't going to hot up anyone in the family or nothing like
yes.
that. But
But I'm sure everyone has seen that, and it's normalized,
yeah,
and the sympathy. Oh, and that's part of the problem, because and even so many people don't want to say it's abuse, so it's hard to classify. But
yeah,
um uh that's a very touchy subject in the Black community, is
yeah,
hitting the children. And I will say it opens up the door for more serious types of harm. So it's not good.
yeah,
um and it also, I feel like it's that, and having so many children, the celebration of baby mama culture,
yeah.
like, and also children being seen as resources, because then you can get a check, especially,
Mm,
you can get a check, or however they may see it.
yeah.
um it op- it it's not a good view of it. Doesn't help the children. It's hard to express and to
No,
put
no,
it
you know,
into.
I get you fully because it's the parents' needs being put before the parents' wants being put before the children's needs, and
Yes.
that's all it usually comes down to. All the
Yeah,
child
and
is,
also too, a bitterness for not wanting the children to be better and far. Black people, we could be light years ahead if we weren't breaking our children and clipping their wings and their creativity and identity
oh, I agree.
before.
Yeah,
Yes, there's especially in my case, my mother saw me as competition and never
yeah,
celebrated my wins or could acknowledge. And that happens a lot in our
yeah,
families and in our community, where a parent says, nobody helped me, nobody ever gave me nothing. And that bitterness, it holds us back, where every person has to start from square one on their own.
yeah.
This is ridiculous. We're in 2026. It's ridiculous for people to have to build from square one on their own, a young
100%.
adult out here.
Well, they've been programmed to believe this. This is what I've been speaking about this recently. It's almost like people think of it as virtuous, to make your kids earn their own money, and it's like, yeah, fair enough, it's good if they can earn their own money, but at the end of the day, it used to be standard to leave your kids, to set your kids up. That used to be the standard procedure. But now, because something happened within maybe my grandparents' generation, where my parents' generation never got their due inheritance, whatever it was, there's they're putting it onto the generation beneath them, and it's all it's pushing this whole
Yeah,
thing of
and that was my thing, is as far as like people of color, we set our children up the least and abuse them the most.
yeah,
So that is a double bind, putting that's like putting us at a disadvantage culturally.
yeah. They set us up to be
Yes,
survivalists. We're set up to be survivalists,
yes,
but
yeah.
but
And it
like you
set,
said,
set up to it sets hitting the child and not helping them and making them. It sets you up to accept the minimum too.
mm, definitely,
Yeah.
because there's no progression. There's no generational building. There's no, okay, granddad leaves the dad, that leaves the son, who leaves his son.
Mhm.
There's none of that. It's just everybody gets what they're, everyone's off.
100%. Even like I've seen even in my neighborhood, like they have Jewish gyms, Jewish
Hmm.
gymnasiums and different things. We
Yeah,
don't even we haven't even been able to build anything culturally, like a school or a hospital or
yeah.
even a library.
The thing is though, with, you know, people people might take offense to it or not, but the problem is black people in America are seen as property. So because of that, they're onto them. They know how quickly they can develop. But so whenever they've built any, that's why they've had all the civil rights movement and everything, because they the black economy was growing too fast. You understand? So all of these things have been put there to slow down the black economy. And until people see that and override it, it's going to be always in that situation. And even all these things like putting down your kids, um,
Yes.
the whole broken
Yeah, the
homes.
self-hatred has to stop. Like
Yeah,
we
of course.
can, yeah, even the way the black men don't want to love the black women.
Mm,
Um, and then the most of the when a black person does get brave enough to want to delete somebody, it's usually another black person. Um,
100%. Yeah.
they, they always so much internalized. The anger is always projected. I don't know, at our own people. It's so crazy.
Mm, yeah, of course. Because you know, certain
The
things in the rap
fatherlessness,
culture.
the child abandonment. Yeah, the father, the way the children the men abandon their children is crazy too. It
Mm,
sets
mm,
them up for failure.
yeah, of course. But a lot of that
And
is due to men and women not being able to have proper relationships with each other. And then this is where the whole thing breaks down, and the man's off, the woman's, you know what I mean, got the kid. He's, you know what I mean, more drama. But yeah, it's all messy. A lot of it is very messy. But again, it all comes down to like they saw what was going on with Black Wall Street back in the day, and you understand, they didn't want that shit. And similar things have happened in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Believe it or not, on a smaller scale, similar things have happened here, where they've got into the people's heads, and now the people, they're not, they can talk all this unity talk, but they're not able to pull it off, because they're, there's certain things that they're not aware of that are going to constantly trip them up. So
I hear you talk a lot about racism and
yeah.
racists.
Mm.
So is that a big issue in the location where you're located?
Not really. Not see what I'd call a big issue, like a racist place, like, I don't know, maybe somewhere like Texas, maybe some parts of Texas where they'll string you up from a tree. You got them sorts of
Yeah.
places. You Yeah.
It's very,
You
and
you
with
haven't
that,
you,
it's
you won't find that many white people willing to string me up from a tree around here. You won't be able to
yes,
find enough
same,
of them.
same.
You won't
With
find
little
enough to fill a
towns
car.
like that, they're very, just like with the family system that is corrupt and where there's abuse, they're very quiet, and it's those towns are not promoted. They have one in Texas called Vidor, Texas, where it's like a sundown town and stuff. But
Mm-mm.
um I think they kind of keep those that I think they're kind of ashamed of
Yeah, of course.
places like that and don't really want to publicize at this time. It seems like I'm very pleased with the changing tide even within our community of black people, just the ones that are choosing for themselves to do better.
Yeah.
Aside from the unit, there are pockets of people choosing better for themselves, and also like even like with yourself, with more gentle parenting and not being one to take your anger out on the children,
Yeah.
they're beating them and
But the thing
stuff
is as
like
well,
that.
though, I was a bit, when I had my first child, I was in my mid-20s. So even age could have a maturity could have a lot to do. And I'm not going to
Oh, yeah.
say I'm not going to say I was the best parent, but over time, you know what I mean? You develop and you become you adapt to being a parent. Um, but
Some parents. So, do you feel like you've gotten better with your as time went on with your children, and maybe you've improved with the second, or
well, what can I say? I've definitely more. I'm definitely like when I had my first child, I was still outside. You know what I mean? I was still out drinking, partying. You know what I mean? Staying out all night. Do you know what I mean? Like, still living like how I was living as a teenager. You understand? I
correct?
wasn't. It wasn't being a parent wasn't my priority. It was like, cool, I'm a parent, great, yeah, but at the same time, my social life was still important. You understand? But as you get older,
Did your priority shift to where parenting
yeah.
became a priority, or how did that go?
To be honest, do you know what it is? Like right now, I don't live anywhere near my children, so now it's an actual effort. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you can't just turn up whenever you want, you understand? It's a different scenario. Before it's maybe an hour and a half journey, and I felt like I can't be bothered. Now it's a 7 hour journey, 5 hour journey, just one
Well,
way.
that's good. I mean,
So
it's better than being there and being abusive. The absent parent sometimes gets it, like, as far as in the child's memory, the
mm,
one who's not around sometimes is remembered more fondly.
yeah, no, but what it is, I'm always on WhatsApp.
And
I'm always on WhatsApp with my kids, so we
that
always
shows
communicate.
they have to have that want to connect as well. So it's a good thing that they have a desire to reach out to you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my son, sometimes I have to reach out to him, but he's like me. He'll just go, he'll just go, he just get on with what he's doing. He's not really bothered about it, you know what I mean? My daughter, she always, whenever she wants money, she'll shout me anyway. So I hear from her quite often. So yeah, but big up my daughter because
You're funny.
you haven't met my daughter.
I hear from her quite often.
Oh God, my my daughter is mate. We'll unleash her soon. You know, it's too
Oh,
early. It's
good.
too early to unleash her onto the public because that's it. Oh mate,
What's her sign?
I don't know. I got out of all that star sign stuff. I,
Okay,
I
good.
yeah. I know she's a Taurian. She's a Taurus.
Okay.
For people that are interested, you know what I mean? She's a Taurus. But
Mhm.
yeah. But
Okay.
I can't be getting into all that. I
Yeah,
can't
you're
get
right.
it's
You're right.
it's a
Because you
slippery
can't get
slope.
carried.
It's a
You're
slippery slope,
100% right.
astrology.
You're so right. That is not something that we put our trust in at all, like a
Yeah.
grain of salt.
It's easy. It's an easy one to do though, because it's just like without, you know. But yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But
So what
yeah.
this is episode, is it 44?
No, number four. This is no, we're brand new. We're brand new.
Oh
Like
my
we're
gosh. Shout
early.
out to Bad Slave Podcast.
Yeah.
Now, what is a bad slave? What does that entail?
So so I started it in 2020. So it was when the lockdown was happening. I was getting very active online and I was causing a scene. Yeah, I was causing a big scene in the UK. Everybody in the UK, except for the few people that was with me, they all know because they weren't backing me up. You know what I mean? So they weren't backing me up. I was calling out all this stuff. There was a few. Don't get me wrong. There was a few. There was a few, there was people that I ended up meeting along the way. But as far as people that I knew most of my life, all my life, they weren't backing me up on this.
They
So
never do. They never
yeah,
do. That's why I said a prophet is loved everywhere except his hometown. It's never the people that
yeah,
should be supporting you around.
of course. That's what I'm saying. So I even left London. Before this, I even left London. It was almost like I was cast out of London. I'd gone to the southwest of England, where I still am, and started doing my thing. Started pushing this clothing brand down here. So it's kind of like it was kind of like anti lockdown, all of this stuff, because people here are very obedient. Yeah, putting their mask on, hand sanitizers,
Okay.
total
So
sheet.
this came about over COVID. Is that what
Yeah,
you're telling me? This
yeah,
was birthed during
and then so all these a lot of these rappers and all these people, they're trying to get at me and say, "Oh, you can't say this," and they were conspiring. These even started like conspiring to try and take me down. So there's conspiring to like try and put me, because I was the first person to sit there and say at the end of the day, there ain't even a virus. Yeah, that was what sort of shit I was saying. So they wanted to put me out on the what do you call it?
Mhm.
They wanted to put me on the executioner's block and publicly execution me with podcasts and stuff, because I wasn't into doing
Good.
any podcast and anything like that. So everyone kept on reaching out to me to jump on podcasts. Eventually, I did it with my friend Nova Flip. We did a 10C series, whatever podcast.
Oh, wow.
But he tried to get me out of here. He failed. Like, big up Nova, but he failed to get me out of here. You know, and then from there, I'd start getting more people asking me to come on podcasts and talk shit about all this stuff. Obviously, I was doing my Bad Slave brand. I just came up with the idea. I got a friend of mine who's an artist to help me do the logo. I started putting stickers up, got some t-shirts done up, and that was it. And then I just built on it bit by bit. But it's been a struggle. There's been loads of mad stuff that's happened along the way. You see what I'm saying? One day I might have to write a book about it. Like, some of these mad things are ongoing.
Yeah, and you should do just raw footage to put together in a documentary,
Yeah.
maybe like 10 years from now as the
Mm.
growth transpires. Because it seems like, if you've been working this Bad Slave brand since at least COVID, there's some longevity building. So
Yeah.
it'd be nice to get some clips to put together
100%. Yeah, no,
like
definitely.
what Kanye West did, where he put out a documentary of some old footage from before he got famous.
Mm. He was around for a long time, Kanye West. A lot of people don't realize he was behind the scenes, engineering and uh, a lot of big hip hop albums. So he worked his way. Maybe he should have stayed in the background. You know what I mean? Maybe his downfall was going in the limelight.
I always think that's what my agenda is. I'd rather get the money and
Of
move
course.
quiet like a mice, because even like I think it was, they had a streamer and his name was Omni and the Hellcat, and he was doing
Yeah.
something, I don't know, but he was doing good till he started blowing up and getting those going viral. I don't know, that's when he went to jail. The feds came, got him. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always think it's good to do. I don't mind. I like being small, and sometimes God has a person hidden for a reason,
Of course.
so
Of
I
course.
think it'd be better, because being famous seems like it would just cause more problems as you're trying to move and take care of your business. People
100%.
interrupting dinner, asking you for a picture, stopping you. I'm not trying to do all that.
And I find in London, it's one of them places where, on a normal day, everybody's cool. The minute you become famous, people get excited and then they want to attack you. So this is the thing, so people that are famous in London, it's constant drama. So with me, I always made sure, because my whole thing was, I'm going where I'm going. I don't want to be mobbed, but so I was always a bit apprehensive to get too much exposure, especially whilst I lived in London anyway. Because a lot of celebrities ran out of London, and not for any reason apart from people. It could be youngsters. They're just getting too excited when they see him. Like Central C. If Central C walk through London, he's getting mobbed, and then someone's gonna decide to throw a punch at him, and then it's all gonna kick off. So it's just easier to
Yeah,
just
because
live in the
if
city.
somebody does something, or even if somebody makes a diss song about Central C, it does kind of fame kind of puts a target on your back, because if they can take you down, they get to be the hot boy or girl. If
Mhm. Basically,
whoever
yeah,
they, yeah.
that's it. And Central C, in a way, because they've pushed him and they've marketed him as a drill rapper, it's made all the drill people around him start getting at him. And he's not I'm not to disrespect the guy, he's a great artist. And I'm not, but
But you're right, he's not a
no,
drill rapper, and
no,
he's not in the streets like that.
no, no, he does his thing. He's a cool guy, but this is what happens when you're marketed like that. You know what I mean? You just automatically become the target. And because he's a big name, he's the prize. So
That too, and it just goes how manufactured some of these artists are. Like, okay, they probably have somebody else writing his raps for him. So the whole image sounds manufactured, not downing him, but really there is a secret to the music industry. Even with other artists, it's a lot of fakery, like where they're not as gangster. Or Tupac was in art school, and I think he may have been in dance and different.
yeah, he did his thing. But with Tupac though, this is a subject of a lot of debate. See, me and some of my mates get into this, and it's like, I get it. He did go to art school and he did do his thing, yeah. But then where Tupac was grown up as under the Black Panthers, and he weren't really he weren't a gangbanger like that, but he was, he was ready to stand on business. You know what I mean? He was ready to stand on business for a rapper. You know what I mean?
Okay, but also then, I mean, I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist though, but I mean, the Black Panthers were also were kind of infiltrated by COINTELPRO, and
Yeah,
some people are saying even his mom was kind of are like, why people are kind of somewhat suspicious of her
yeah,
still being she's one of the last people alive, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. She's pulling all the strings, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so some people look at her with a little bit of a side eye.
What?
So
Well,
it could have been
I
he
did
could
watch
have been,
Tupac's dad interview.
I think he was controlled opposition personally, but go
With Pac.
ahead.
Yeah, fair enough, fair play. Um, I did watch a documentary which said he was linked to the new Black Panthers, and they had they was doing certain, like, that Thug Life was kind of like the new brand of the new Black Panthers, and they was doing this, that, and the other. But that's the only documentary I've seen on it. You understand? But I'm open to, like, hear anything, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It wouldn't
I have a
surprise
lot of
me.
respect. Yeah,
It
yeah,
wouldn't
but I have
surprise
a
me.
lot of respect for the old Black Panthers like Huey Newton.
Hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of them old school guys that, even from the Black Panthers, and then even the Crips and the Gangster Disciples and all of them, the old school generation, they had order and discipline. You know what I mean? They did it, even though they were technically what they class as gangs. They had some sort of structure to them. Do you know what I mean? They had headquarters. Right now, guys are on the streets. Do you know what I mean? Guys are on the corner. These guys had headquarters. So
Yeah, at
some
least
people.
like with the Black Panthers especially, they had breakfast programs for the
Mhm,
children, and um they were actually shooting who they need to shoot. Like the young get bangers might shoot through somebody's window and hurt a baby in their
mhm,
sleeping because they
mhm.
don't even know how to aim and all that
Well,
other stuff. But the original Black Panthers were very militant.
mhm.
And I think a lot of them were returning home from World War One, I think, or like
Yeah,
They had returned from Vietnam or somewhere.
A lot
They
of them
were
went Vietnam. A lot of them went Vietnam, but even
yes,
yeah, you're right. A
yeah.
lot of them had military backgrounds.
Yes,
A lot of
so
them had military backgrounds.
yeah, they had that they had
Yeah, they
that
weren't
true
playing.
militant. No, they were not playing around. God bless them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
But then what's happened? Where they've kept so many of these people in jail for so long. The youngers have let.
America, I believe America has the highest prison population in the world,
Yeah.
I believe. In
Mm,
Louisiana is especially high in prison incarceration.
yeah.
That's a whole nother thing. And the abuse that goes on behind those walls is treacherous. Now, those are a prison, that's a real mind control MK Ultra location.
I could imagine. I could
Yes.
imagine. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of these prison documentaries, so I see some of these prisons out there. Especially, are the prisons are they segregated in Louisiana like they are in California?
What do you mean? Are they segregated?
Yeah, because we don't have this in the UK. In the UK, we don't have, like, don't get me wrong, there is probably a bit of segregation. I've never been to prison, so I don't know what's going on inside.
Good.
But from what I hear, there might be a bit of segregation from the like people that are Muslim or whatever. But the Muslims can, they could be black, Asian, Somalian, white. Do you see what I'm saying? So, but racially, it's not really segregated like that. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not sure, but from what I understood of prison culture, every prison has each prison has its own dominant group. Some prisons are run by the Muslims. Some
Okay.
prisons are ran by the homosexuals. Other prisons might be ran by the KKK. So they in the prisons they do have a group probably depending on which prison it is that's more dominant. that
But either way,
at that
so whatever prison you go to, it's going to be a long day for you if you're black in that state. Like,
well, yeah, yeah, and I'm here in Louisiana for sure. But they have had a lot of inmates breaking out in the
yeah,
United States too. Have you heard about any of those prison
I think
escapes?
so. I think maybe there's been a few breakouts in the UK as well, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's interesting. I feel
yeah,
like these are signs that the system is breaking down. Like
yeah.
it's becoming way more frequent. These breakouts are becoming a
Mm.
lot more frequent.
Well, the UK, to be honest, yeah, it is dismantling as we speak. Hold on one second. Can you say that?
Really?
Yeah, like even in the UK, even things like bus services, train services, they're pretty like in a bad state at the moment. So certain things are just terrible.
Like, do
Certain
you
like,
mean like there's crime on the subway when you say breaking down? What do you mean? What is
oh,
breaking
like
down?
there's always been crime in the UK. There's always been a lot of crime in the UK. A lot of it is petty crime, but you also have a lot of drugs, with a lot of drug related crime, and you have a lot of
What's
gang
the big
related
drug? What kind of drugs do they like out
people.
there?
People.
Fentanyl? What is the big
No,
drug?
they mostly over here. It's mostly the usual crack, heroin, cocaine. Not really have much meth over here. Um, some ketamine. You have some stuff you wouldn't even really class as drugs, but people take it.
Like what's some of that type of stuff? Like whippets? They're doing glue? What kind of stuff are
they
they
were
doing?
that was they. You know what? Probably in some parts of the country, I'm sure these people's butane. You know what I mean? Inhaling butane, and
Is
what else?
butane the stuff that you fill up your lighter with? Is that the lighter weed?
Basically, yeah, yeah, exactly. So these I've seen people go to the shop and buy 6 cans of butane and start inhaling it.
What do you think's behind that?
Um,
Mentally, what is the deal?
I think it just gets to the point where people just become so disconnected to themselves that they just, you know, it
I
just gets
think too, hanging around the wrong people. You got to be aware of your influences. And my thing is with the situations like with butane and different things that I've seen, particularly what comes to my mind is the heroin use. It's always shocking to me how young the
yeah, no, it's
the
true. It's true.
person. It's shocking to me how young the person in question is. It's like, what kind of people have you been hanging around? Like, you don't see any potential for yourself, or I don't know.
No, this is true. Do you know what it is? I've actually got a friend here who's going to be coming on the podcast. She's going to be coming on soon, and same sort of scenario. Got into drugs very young, right? And it makes you question who gave you these drugs. And this is what I want to ask. This because this is where I live in the UK. It's not. It's a nice part of the UK compared to the rest of it, but it's got a lot of hard drugs here. And what I'm finding is a lot of the people get into it very young. Like, you're talking 12, 13, they were getting onto heroin, and it's like, this is something that we need to get to the bottom of. We need to find out who is these people. Do you know what I mean? Who is these people giving these
Well, we
kids hard
already know
drugs?
the parents. It's very easy to say the
You
parents
know
are
what?
public enemy number one
Well, you know what? It's funny you say
in
that.
those cases. In those
Funny you
cases,
say that because there is a guy I know. He's only a young guy. He's not even 20 yet, and he's a heroin addict and a crackhead. And I asked him, "How did you get on it?" And he told me his dad got him on it. Do you know what I mean? His dad got him on it. So this is what is making me starting to think is like, are these parents? Because I've got a teenage daughter. If
yes,
anybody tried to get my daughter on drugs, yeah, then I'll just be in prison. That'd be it.
yeah,
I'd be sitting in a jail. You know what I mean? And that would be it. It would be no. And it's
right.
like, so for me, if my daughter at that age got onto hard drugs, I would feel responsible because I'd be like, well, she's at the age where you can literally do something about it. She can't go far. So yeah, it makes you think. Like a lot of the parents, they're either turning a blind eye, or worst case scenario, they're giving the drugs to their kids themselves, or they're leaving the drugs around for the kids to just take and try.
I mean, if anytime it's if there's in trafficking and sex work and drug abuse, when a young person or a young adult is in that situation, it definitely is the parent of such person definitely gets a F, if at best a D grade in those cases, because
Mm-hmm.
even if a child, there should be a safety net there to catch such young person, and to the value should be instilled beforehand. So this is it's very much in my opinion. And people like to say, oh, young people, they grow up, they're going to do what they want anyways. But a lot of the people that have that, it doesn't matter what you do, things go wrong anyway perspective, never had a heart and intention to go right. um so yeah, I definitely, when I see young people out there in those vulnerable situations, it's very sad. And they have some parents that are just on control freaks. They just
Mm.
over control, and they're like, if nobody's gonna put my daughter on heroin or my people on heroin, I'll do it, because at least then I can teach them the right
Mm.
way, or the difference. Or they have some people that want to they'd rather control the abuse, and then
Yeah,
that makes them feel not so powerless.
of course. Yeah. No, I get it because when I was younger, so we had some of our friends' parents who would be like, "You guys can smoke weed in the house because you'd rather you
Or
do
you
it."
guys can drink over here, drink at the house.
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and did they buy?
No, and in my case now, we weren't that young. We were probably about 17, but the mum would prefer us to smoke weed in his room rather than go out on the streets and be getting into trouble. That's
Well,
kind of her.
that could be a safety measure. I wouldn't necessarily classify that as bad parenting, but
Nah,
at the point where now they have parents that may want to supply the alcohol, have the
Yeah,
party,
of course.
and then
Yeah.
they have moms that will, um, kind of carouse the young people.
The
They have
mum's in the
moms that
party with them. Yeah, the mum's in the party as well. I know. Yeah,
yeah,
them ones.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
the
they
mum's in the
can go
party.
ahead and feel young. They can feel
Mm,
young and also
yeah.
sexually desirable by the
Mhm.
young boys. So they have some now that's getting into exploitative
Of course.
territory with
Yeah, yeah. No, it's true.
when they're
Yeah.
right with them. Kind of like what is it, LeBron James, who has a son, is it in the NBA with him? But I even see that with an athlete. There's one a father and son somewhere. I think it's basketball. I don't keep up with it so much, but I
Yeah.
almost want to say is it Shadar Sanders? I forget who it is, but they
Mm.
have somebody over there that doesn't want to step down, and both I think they might have his father and son both playing in the NBA. I'm not sure who
Real.
it is,
Okay. The dad
but
still wants to hang in there.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
See. That's crazy. Well, this is what's happening as well. Like you said, it's almost like the parents are in competition with their kids. You know.
100% to
Yeah.
prove in the dating market, to prove that they still got it. It's the stuff even on Facebook. That's the stuff we see on the timeline. Your wife post about Bonnie Blue, and she is such an atrocity.
Mm.
Just no boundaries at all. What do you
Well,
make
this,
of?
this is what people in the UK are into. You
What do
understand?
you? Oh
They're
my
into all
gosh!
this. No, because that's what they're into. You know what it is, yeah? People, like you see with me, I don't pay attention to anything that I'm not into. Right? The fact of the matter is millions of people pay attention to that woman. Millions of people. So that's what they're into. Yeah. Millions of people are not paying attention to my mate's new album that he just put out. They're not paying attention to my mate's picture that he just drew, or my mate's
You're
film
so right.
directed, or my mate who just won a boxing title. Yeah, they're not paying attention to that. They want to pay attention to a woman who's lying on her back and getting ran through by a thousand men. So that's what it is. You can't. There's nothing you can do.
Well,
They're
that's
letting you know what they
because
want to see. Sorry?
sure, but also there's a low cost of entry to environments like that. You don't have anybody judging you, and you don't have to think. You don't have to have it there. There's a very low cost of entry, whereas in a more atmosphere like this, you, you know, there's a little bit more light. And so a
Mm,
person,
mm.
there may be a standard which could turn and deter people away from things.
Yeah,
I think
well,
a lot of people engage in those activities because there's a low cost of entry, low barrier
mm,
to entry. There's
basically, and this is when it would only get lower. It would only get lower. So
Mhm.
it would only get it's only going to get worse. If this is the thing with the entertainment
But
world.
you say
Oh,
that kind of thing is normalized in the UK. So a
yeah.
young girl, how is that reflecting on the teenage girls?
Um, from what I from what I can see, most of them aren't following her. From what I
Good.
see. Not that I know, but I don't see. Hopefully, that's what I can only hope. England is full of predators. Uh, they're everywhere. Even if you read the local paper or the local news um, site, they're always putting
Well,
the
I would
pictures
say
up.
this about England, and this is other cultures and people. I would say England is very repressed. They
Mm,
they have a very dignified kind of looking down their nose, very refined outward appearance. And
mhm,
that would naturally, just because they have so much better than in the class system and all
yeah.
of that, it would naturally leak out in sexual perversion, in my opinion, because they have
Mm,
so much repression.
yeah, yeah.
And that goes for anybody that's like, even in heavily religious environments where they want to be so perfect or
Mm,
strict. I always think, to me, and now that's kind of reads as a red flag, because when there's over repression, that's going to leak out in a way that's probably not healthy.
this is why you have the in London there was a few. a few pastors that like ran through the congregation. You know what I mean? Took some, women won't come to see him, took him to the back room,
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
took
I
abused
almost
his
feel like
position.
yes, and you'd almost do better just going. I personally like. If I was in the dating market, I wouldn't be broadcasting. I mean, we don't hide our faith.
Mm-hmm.
We proclaim it boldly, but it wouldn't. I don't necessarily lead with it because I find the people proclaiming to be Christian be the they're be more jacked up than just a regular old world average
Yeah.
or normal okie doke. Yeah, the people in the church and yes. And then the thing about it is they don't want to discuss it.
Mm. Well, the thing is, being a religious person, like you said, especially like spending years doing it, like you said, it's repression. And sometimes I've known religious people to stumble, yeah. And when I mean they stumble, that's it. They're got, you know what I mean? Drink, drugs, fornication, the lot, like, do you know what I mean? But all in one, because it's been so repressed for so long, and then that's it. To the point where some of them never going back to church, some of them like hardcore
Yeah,
atheists.
exactly.
Um,
And there was a point where I think at one point I was being too hard and overly strict on myself, and it created internal conflict where I felt self-righteous and I became
mm,
kind of a hater where I was kind of like, oh, you see them over there, they're doing this, that wrong. And
start
I said to
blazing fire.
myself,
Yeah.
yeah, I had to start enjoying, like, chill out, go do some fun stuff, smoke a blunt, or go twerk, do whatever you got. I don't think you can be, it may not be that great, or it can make your path harder by trying to be overly, you know what I'm saying? You just got to be yourself and kind of find that normal middle ground because yeah, over controlling, I think it kind of goes haywire internally or outwardly
Yeah.
projecting.
It can send you. I think what it is, yeah, is when you are that disciplined, yeah, it can send you a bit mad in the world we live in, because the world we live
Okay,
in is so
exactly.
wrong.
Like when you said, I noticed you say you don't really get too deep into the truther movement and the doomer porn where
Mm.
you gotta find out everything because you're right. It will make you be like, oh, don't use that. There's something like you'd be like,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Of
don't
course.
use that dish soap or don't use the microwave or
How do you know what it is with the truthers, yeah? So I don't know if you use that term in the States, but obviously the truthers are kind of like people that are sort of like the anti-vax movement and these sort of people, yeah. But what it
Yes.
is with them,
And I think there's wisdom in that. Are you vaccinated?
no way.
Same here, neither.
Yeah,
Pure
that's what I'm
blood.
saying. These people, they're not vaccinated, and that's cool. But the problem is they can't handle the truth. You understand? So this is why I had to say to them, like, stop. I don't want my clothing brand associated. And to be honest, yeah, don't get me wrong, I've sold to loads of them. Do you know what I mean? I've sold to
Hmm.
loads of them. That's what I said. I said it in the first place. Yeah, they didn't get what I meant. I said, yeah, I said I am to the truth movement what Tommy Hilfiger is to black people. Right. And they didn't get
Okay,
what I
which
meant.
is that's not who you want to represent your brand, but
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what I
you'll
said
sell
to
it.
That's what I said from ages ago. I said that's what it is. So the same way Tommy Hilfiger was like, I don't want black people wearing my clothes or whatever, and they still brought it. That's basically what was happening. So then when these people, like, I don't mind people buying my clothes, yeah, cool. But it got to the point where I don't want my clothes, I don't want it represented in the wrong way. I don't want people representing it in the wrong way, you know. So and I don't know, it got to the point where I was just like with these truthers, yeah, even if they're not vaccinated, still they do my head in. Do you know what I mean? It gets to the point I don't want to sound like I'm judging people, but I'm just not a fan. These people can't handle the truth. So there's no point calling yourself a truther. You can't actually handle the truth. Any bit of truth that gets thrown at
What
you,
is the truth that you wanted to handle? What's the
they can't
conflicting
handle any truth. They can't handle any truth. You understand? So then, and this is the thing: if you want to go down the rabbit hole and you want to get deep, yeah, and you want to actually get deep, and you want to get spiritual, and you want to get whatever, yeah, and you want to get into the Bible, you have to get into the Bible, innit? If you want to get into the Bible, you have to get into it. If you want to start backing up and saying little bits and then back it out, and you know what I mean, what's going on there? So this is what I'm saying. Can't deal with these people. And that's where it stops. You know, it gets to the point where you can only go so far with some people, and then that's it. And you got to just tell them to, you know, tell them to do their own thing. So yeah.
Yeah. In America, the truthers hopefully aren't so annoying. They seem to be the more level-headed ones,
Mm-hmm.
and the ones that yeah, they just kind of like mind here in America, they just kind of like mind their own business and are like, get your money, get free, build a homestead.
Yeah, they're just we tried this in the UK, and a lot of them ruined it. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds a
Now,
bit different. Sorry?
Is Queen Elizabeth alive? Is
Nah,
Queen
man,
Elizabeth
she's a pack. She got smoked years ago. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
she
She's
got
a pack.
smoked
She
years
got
ago.
smoked years ago.
Seriously. Yeah, she got smoked. No disrespect.
Um,
Do you know what it is? No disrespect, because the Caribbeans love her. The old school Caribbeans love her. So yeah, rest in peace.
I've heard that. I've
But
heard
yeah,
that.
rest in peace to the Queen. But she's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people had their opinion on the Queen. You know what I mean? And I tried to refrain from getting into it. Do you know what I mean? I tried to just say,
Okay.
look, I had to just leave it at that. Do you know what I mean? I said, Queen Elizabeth.
Sure, we can just show respect and leave it at that.
Yeah, she was a good woman. I saw a picture on the wall of loads of Caribbean houses back in the day. She wasn't on my wall, but I saw her picture on some walls. But that's it. That's about it, man. She's got her son. He's now King Charles.
Okay.
So the husband of Princess Diana.
Yeah, now he's with Camila.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I don't. Literally, you know, the way I look at it, the royal family, they do their thing. Cool. I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
You try not to have it, you like you say, they're not something you can control, so
I
you're not really trying
I
to
just have no,
waste your energy on
I just
them.
have no, yeah, just I have no disrespect to them. I have no concern for them. You know what I mean? I don't, I don't care whether
Well,
they live or die. Sort of
let
thing.
me ask you this.
Yeah.
When Harry married the American girl,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
um you weren't caught up in that hoopla because they made a big deal out of it when he married the
Yeah, they try.
I can't even,
Yeah.
huh?
Meghan Markle. Yeah.
Yes. And you weren't caught up in all of that hoopla whenever it was going on.
I just thought, yeah, good. I just thought good publicity stunt for her acting career, and good means of a good escape route for him. Do you know what I mean? Like fair play, escape. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Escape the UK. If that, do you know what I mean? Like get away from all these mad people. You know what I mean? Especially in London. It's even worse if you're.
Really?
It's even worse if you're a part of the high society. Do you know what I mean? It's all right when you're in the hood in the UK. That's another thing. When you're in the high society, man, you got to think the kind of mad people you would have to be in your proximity. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't blame him for like flying out to Canada, going and live in the mountains, buy loads of guns. You know what I mean? Get an electric fence up.
Right.
And that's
I
him.
mean, after the way for the way they did his mom, I would be happy to
Do you see what I'm
it'd be
saying?
off-putting. It would all be off-putting seeing Andrew with Camila and everybody being around. Like that was just
Yeah, mate.
yeah.
To be honest, the royal family, because of Prince Andrew, it's got so much bad publicity recent years that
Oh yeah.
it's one of the things that even the British Patriots, even they want to kind of sweep it under the carpet. If you notice, the British Patriots, they're not really talking about King, and they're talking about their prime minister and their mayor, and they're not really talking about their royals, their monarchy anymore. That's all been kind of brushed to one
I've
side.
heard that they were losing their favor, like they were falling out of favor, like almost even kind of being up for consideration. I wonder if it should go on. I don't know, but I kind of heard that they were losing their relevancy.
Yeah, this has been happening, from over a while. So the power shift has gone from monarchy to government. And
Yeah, it seemed like they were just kind of decorative.
basically were. But now they're not. Now it's not even. Then it's not even really a good tourist pool now. So now, it's just that's what it is. There was more of a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
Everyone,
souvenirs, and they could bring them out for pomp and circumstances. To like, it was like if the people started probably becoming too aware when they need a distraction, bring out the royals. Like,
yeah, basically,
we need a distraction, bring out the royals. Come up with a controversy on demand or parade them around.
Yeah, basically, and now they're kind of phasing them out. They're being phased out, and even government's being phased out, and it will be taken over by, was it called technocracy? That's the
Yeah,
will take over.
technocracy. Yeah,
Technocracy. See, yeah. So that's why there's a lot of instability in all these governments now, because they need to make it all look. You know what I mean? They need to
So what
discredit.
is the technocracy? Is that mean leaning towards the AI government?
Basically, that facial recognition, remote controlled everything. Obviously,
Oh, video cameras
all of that. Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. Basically, so like what some parts of China are like, and
Social
also,
credit score.
yeah, basically all of that. Like, it's happening already, without people realizing. But yeah, all of that stuff basically. So
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
why.
that's interesting to look at the driving force behind some of this civil unrest that we see
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
phasing in.
So England, even though it's funny because when people think of England, they think of like a country that is like doing better than everyone else in the world kind of thing. But the reality of England is full of load of depressed people walking around. It really England's full of a country full of depressed people. Do you know what I mean? England's basically one of them places that they're going to sink because, you know what I mean? It's no longer needed. It's no longer needed as a
It
powerhouse.
seems like it's already being diluted culturally with the heavy Muslim influence there. It
Yeah, but
seems like
the thing is, that's just what a lot of these people think, because you got to remember is there was Pakistanis here from a long time ago, Bangladeshis. So over the time, there's been, the thing is, if you're going to invite people from Africa, Middle East, Asia, you're going to get Muslims. You're going to get people who follow Islam. But, they make it out like it's all from one country. So it's not like, oh, we're getting an influx of, we've got 1 million or 10 million Muslims from Afghanistan. We've got different people from, don't get me wrong, and amongst all of that people, we have, it's not all Muslims we have, but we have a lot of Muslims because it's just how it is. If you bring a load of Nigerians in, set amount of them are going to be Muslims. Set amount of Congolese people, certain amount of Indian people will be Muslim. Certain amount of wherever, Senegalese people will be Muslim. So if you tally it like that, you're not even going to be looking at one race of people. You're going to be looking at different kind of people who are not going to join forces under the, do you know what I mean? If anything, they might join forces with their little
do you
communities.
feel like it's lost its culture since you were a young
Well,
lad?
England.
Yeah.
Well, when I was young, England, it was already destroyed. You know what I mean? Where I was from was already what the rest of the country is seeing now. It was already like that when I was young. So it was already, when I was growing up. I was growing up around drug addicts and all these sorts of people. I just thought was normal. You know what I'm saying? So now the rest of the country is experiencing it, and all the other chaos. It's like fair enough, but
Yes.
I don't know if England's lost any. I don't know. I guess England's lost its culture, but it's not due to immigrants so much. It's due to them knocking things down and rebuilding shit buildings with no character. You know what I mean?
Really?
Before they had nice
They're tearing
historic
down the
buildings.
English architect. What building? What's the name of a building that they tore down recently? Like a important one or a historic one?
Um, what have they tore down? I don't know if they've tore anything that important down, but just like like the old style houses and things like this.
Yes.
Things
Yeah,
that they
the
had back
very
in the day.
ornate. It used to be very ornate
Yeah,
architecture.
cottages, yeah, things like this. There's some places where this still are. Like where I am, it's pretty much majority old buildings, but most of the country isn't. Most of the country houses are built in like the 1960s or 50s or something like that, and they're all just so it's not it's loads of different things in England.
Are they doing like what they did in America where they suburbanized everything and they turned it all into like like the houses are alike in in a
So
suburb.
where they can, it's a bit different in the UK because I don't think they have as much building space as they do in the States. So a lot of in the States, everything seems a bit more spacious. The UK is not always like that. Some of it's very cramped, and you know,
And
um,
that's the thing too with America. They said that a lot of the new housing, they're building like apartments where people aren't even considering owning a home anymore, just
yeah,
apartments.
pretty much, kind of what it's like in the UK, I suppose. A lot of new um, luxury apartments getting built everywhere as well. So,
Hmm.
so yeah, it's a bit of a contrast, but it's not even just that. It's traditional things like butchers and bakers and these sorts of things have been replaced with franchise, chains. So like we have a bakery chain called Greg's, and they're everywhere in the UK, and it's really bad quality, but everyone eats it. They're everywhere. Some people, that's all they eat. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, so a lot of the towns in the UK are pretty similar in the sense where it's got all the same shops, the same layout, the same social problems.
Hmm.
A lot of drug users out on the streets hanging. You know what I mean? So
Oh wow. It sounds almost like California a little bit, the way
it's not.
you say the
It's probably
drug.
not there yet. We're probably not there yet, but we're not. We're probably not that far off. What it is, we haven't got fentanyl. The fentanyl hasn't come yet. You see what I'm saying? It hasn't arrived. You know,
Good, good.
there's been pockets of it up north. You know what I mean? Up north in Newcastle, but yeah, it hasn't landed yet. So I've been saying to people, you need to get your act together before it does, because if you're still using when that shit lands here, you've got no chance. Absolutely no
That's a
chance.
good line. That's a good
It's
one
true.
for them.
Well, this is the thing. Like, what is the drug situation like in the States at the moment? Because people in the UK, they need to see what could happen to them if they don't fix
Oh,
up.
I mean, the meth and the fentanyl is just dilapidating some small towns.
Yeah,
Especially like places in Arkansas and like kind of like rural country, low education
yeah,
places are just being ravaged by it. There is little small towns that are heavily known for opioids, a lot of opioid use, and then fake pills. There's fake pills. People think they're getting one thing and
yeah,
end up getting another thing. I would say it's bad. It's causing a lot of devastation. People lose loved ones. Um, a lot of people get medication and sell their medications. People
yeah.
steal medications from their grandma.
Jesus.
It's a lot going on. I don't thankfully I've never been used to them. Like I was given some different, I forget what it was, maybe Loratab or Percocet, I don't know, but from a dentist, and my friend who actually does take opioids had told me not to take them, like unless I was told to manage my pain without them, because it's people that have been on them have told me it's not what you want to do to avoid it. They said avoid.
Mm. Yeah, because I've noticed, like, I got friends from the States, and they told me like a lot of prescription stuff you get from the doctor is the stuff people are taking to get high.
Yeah, I would say I think in America doctors probably overprescribe where I think there's an over medication issue
Mm.
where probably the doctors get kickbacks and incentives for the more prescriptions of a certain brand that they
Mm.
write.
Yeah.
So the emphasis probably becomes more about how they can get that person, where there could be something less, interactive, or that may have less side effects, but it may not be a higher profit margin. So
Of
the
course.
profit is definitely driven by profit. They're not just going to tell you take vitamin C and get sleep, because that's not
Yeah,
profitable.
yeah, it's big business. The health service in America is big business, even more because in the UK it's free. You know what I mean? But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
but it's not
that's
worth.
amazing.
Yeah, but you know what it is? The UK
You
is
got a
free.
long wait.
You
Do
get
you
what you
have to
pay
wait?
for. You get what you
Do you
pay
have to
for.
wait?
Well, I just try to stay out of these places. Stay out of these places, man.
But
Seriously.
a person that did need care, it'd probably be long waits for a doctor.
Mate, mate, you better just care for yourself. That's
Even
all I can say to people.
though it's free, healthcare is free, but you say you're still better not just
Well,
caring for
I don't
yourself.
know. I don't know. Like, it's hard. It's hard to, I don't know. It's a strange one because I've like in America, I've never really trusted the health system there
That's smart. That's smart.
because I used to get, like Pop Tarts. Yeah, I used to buy Pop
Yes.
Tarts, the ones imported from America, right? And they used to be able to sell them in the UK. They used to have to put a label over the nutrition information because it was whatever they put on the back of there was not true. Yeah, so whatever it was not true. They could not legally sell it. It was literally lies printed
So
on the
basically,
ingredient.
what you're telling me, they had to hide the ingredients
Yeah,
list in order for it to be sold in the
yeah,
UK.
yeah,
And that's right, because they put a lot of unnecessary chemicals like red 40 and
yeah,
aspartame, and
yeah.
there's definitely a soft kill program running in America.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, really, when you think about it.
yeah, and that's I've even heard one, like, on a conversational take like what we're having, that candies are like the introduction. That's a gateway to drugs right there.
Yeah,
Candies as like, especially for a kid, like a little
addiction,
child. I know in my case,
dopamine
like
hits. Yeah, 100%.
they
Yeah.
got us with little fake cigarettes and um the pixie powder. It was like
Yeah,
literally a
yeah. Oh God.
straw.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jesus
It,
Christ.
they, yes, I'm sure. And some of the candies, if you taste them as an adult, even like the Pop Tarts, it has a medicine-y type of chemical-y taste to them.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely, definitely.
Do
We
y'all?
was eating Pop Tarts from a kid, and it was actually sending us mad. So me and my siblings was going mad over the Pop Tarts, and my brother, he called my sister a bitch, and that was it. My mum never bought Pop
Oh my
Tarts.
God.
My
Yeah,
mum never
he
bought Pop
really was
Tarts for 10
losing his
years.
mind over that. He was losing. Exactly. There was definitely drugs in those Pop
Yeah,
Tarts over there.
my mum stuck to her word. She didn't buy Pop Tarts for 10 years, another 10 years. I was a teenager the next time I ate Pop Tarts. So that's why I've always liked them. I did 10 years without them, and I didn't even do anything. It wasn't even me.
Yes,
But
indeed. Yeah, he
yeah,
couldn't handle it. It was too much sugar straight to his brain. He got
I know.
beside himself on the Pop Tarts.
Mm,
He was
basically,
out
yeah.
his body. He was in Pop Tarts had him.
Yeah, we was all going mad. We was all young, you know what I mean? I got
Yes,
five
yes.
siblings. So I got five siblings. So it was all,
And
you know what I mean?
everything we had, it had so much powder, the Kool-Aid powder, the Pixie powder.
Kool-Aid was cool. See, this is what See, this thing of Kool-Aid, a lot of people in the UK have never drunk it.
Really?
Yeah, of course not. People haven't drunk it.
So
There's certain things people haven't. There's certain things people haven't. They
okay,
don't know
so
about.
basically, y'all government loved y'all. Your
No,
government cared and
no,
protected.
they don't.
Basically, we were given, yeah, we
Our
were given.
government's just cheap. They gave us milk. They gave us milk.
That's
Like,
healthy.
nah,
That
but
comes
it
from
is
the,
milk, right?
we were given straight chemical powders, and they were told mix this with water and drink it. Like there could
Kool-Aid.
have been acid or anything in
Yeah.
that Kool-Aid. They were just giving us powders, different colors. It was just
No, but I remember. I don't know how I got the sachets. I ended up with some sachets of Kool-Aid, right? And I think it was the lemon one or whatever. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, Kool-Aid was all right. I can't lie.
and you mix it with like a cup and a half, maybe even 2 cups of sugar. There's so much.
Yeah, exactly. You can make it even stronger. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. The Kool-Aid is crazy. Have and then even in the cartoon, it has them running through the wall in the commercial. The Kool-Aid man
Oh
run through the
God,
wall.
yeah. Oh shit! In Family, was it Family Guy or American Dad? It was one of
Yes,
them,
they
wasn't it?
recreate it.
That was hilarious.
It's quite famous. That's a quite famous ad.
Yeah.
Do y'all have Made in Europe or
What is it
the
called? Sorry.
UK? Made. That's like some kind of self-assist. That's like assisted suicide.
No, but
Have you
you can get it in Switzerland.
Canada? In
Yeah,
Canada.
you can get it in Switzerland. You can't get it in the UK. I don't think.
The
Of
reason why I asked is because in Canada, which is also like one, I think it's one of the colonies. They're with the Queen too,
course,
and
yeah,
they allow it, and they also have the the health care to where everybody is free. It's kind of like all together.
yeah.
And it seemed like with the assisted suicide was one way that they were cutting down on health costs. They're in a system like that, they're going to be all about the cheapest, most
Yeah.
cost effective.
Like who
So
wants to, yeah. So
mhm,
they would ask like who wants to go? Like, you know what I
a
mean? We need
hundred
to
percent,
cut
or even like, yeah, they'll ask and they'll even recommend it. Like, let's
like
say somebody
lemons.
keeps on, if you keep
Yeah,
on complaining about you're in pain or you're
yeah,
sad or you're depressed, they'll like probably give you a video or a pamphlet. Like, have you considered?
yeah, yeah. Well, this is something they could do. They could put, you know what? Yeah, this is something that the UK could benefit from because
It's so funny.
there's a lot. I'm being honest. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people here, yeah, who have lost the will to live, right? And no matter what, don't get me wrong, no matter what we try to motivate them, nothing. You know what I mean? So this would probably be a good idea because the thing is, you got to think when it was the lockdown and the government told the people what they need to do, they didn't. You know what I mean? So if it's all for the good of the country, see all these patriots now. See, this is where I want all these patriots to stand up. All these patriots that are like, I will die for my country. Yeah, yeah. Are you willing? Yeah, to euthanize yourself, right? To free up the housing, free up the jobs, free up some space in the UK since it's so full. Are you willing to euthanize yourselves? Do you know what I mean? So this is where I want to hear
Yes.
back from patriots. Like,
No, I mean we need the Patriots to be alive. Otherwise, it'll be freed up for what? Free up for the freeloaders?
well, not just. I'm not just talking about the patriots, but I mean, like
Yes,
they'll do it for the good of the country. You know, they're the ones who'll do it for the, you know, and do everything the government tells them. I mean, you know,
yes,
there's loads of other people that we can throw in there as well. There's loads of other people that have lost the will to live and are just
yeah.
existing
Oh, 100. Yeah, a
and
hundred percent.
are you know just them being alive is causing a lot of damage, causing a lot of trouble. You know what I mean? A lot of police time. You see what I'm saying? A lot of shoplifting. Maybe they might want to go. You know what I mean? They don't seem happy
Yeah.
anyway. You know. So
Yes, unfortunately, from what it seems like, though, it's never the people, it's never the ones that need it. The ones that need the message never hear it.
I know, I know. Um, a lot of the times, don't get me wrong though. when you're in that bad situation, yeah, there will always be that one person who will come and give you that profound bit of advice, and it's down to you whether you take it or not. A lot of sometimes maybe more. That person might be onto you and might be getting on your case, saying you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. But there will always be someone, some point. But then what you have to be careful of is when that person's had enough and they can't be bothered anymore, and then they leave you. They just throw you to the wolf.
Yeah, like you said in Sweden, I think they have these little like self-serve pods.
Yeah, for like Futurama.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like imagine somebody's at the airport because they have little pods you can go in and take
yeah.
a nap.
Hmm.
You can go into the little pods and take a nap, at the airport and different stuff, and a person accidentally gets in the wrong pod or
Zapped. Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. This is probably what you know what it is. It's so funny because Futurama has them suicide booths, right? And this might be a thing in the future. It might just be a case of like wake up one morning and just think, you know what? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna end it now. Do you know what I mean? To be honest, I think the majority of people, yeah, given the choice, if you said, would you rather have control over the end of your life or no control, they'll choose control.
of
So
course.
you could charge them. You could charge them
They
money.
are charging them. Don't
Yeah,
worry, they're making money off of it for
yeah.
sure. They've
Yeah.
definitely considered that angle. And
How
you're
do I?
right,
Yeah. How do I
because
build on
sometimes
these
like
things?
in a vulnerable state, yeah, a person will wake up or even out of spite. They'll go,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it
Yeah.
to prove a point.
Definitely.
Yeah, they don't need it. They don't need it in America or the UK,
No,
Britain.
no. I think I think in Britain, yeah, this is the direction Britain's going. It might sound dark here, but unless Britain has a huge population reduction by one means or another, it could be going to war. It might send, I don't know, 500,000 people to war. All right.
Why do you think, do you feel or experience the overpopulation?
It's not overpopulation, it's just the trajectory to which the crime and disorder is going. It's not getting any better. You understand? It's gone from, it's got to the point where drugs have just consumed the entire country. Hard drugs is just everywhere. You know what I mean? In places where you wouldn't think people are doing them, but they are. So,
Okay, so do you think Britain used to be kind of affluent and known as a somewhat affluent place? Do you think that the more affluent people are leaving Britain?
yeah, they're all going to
Or
Dubai. They're all going to Dubai, Qatar, all them places. Out,
so
you know what I mean?
the Middle East is coming to Britain, and Britain is going over to the
Yeah,
Middle East.
yeah, that's what they're doing. Like,
And it's funny because probably when they go over there to the Middle East, those men and probably even the women are going to be high on the dating market as far as I'm sure
they,
they're going to
yeah,
probably.
well, what it is when you go over there, remember the Arabs, they run the show over there. They're the ones with the money. Um, so yeah, I imagine. I don't know if dating, they might be on buying you. Do you know what I mean? That's what they might be, But either way, what's happening is the wealthy in the Middle East, sorry, the wealthy in the UK are going to the Middle East. The undesirables of the Middle East are going to the UK. That's what they say. Whether that's true or not, but that um I've watched a few things where there's a guy from, I think it's from Qatar, and he said, yeah, there's a load of troublemakers have gone over to the UK. But it could just be anti-Muslim propaganda. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people sell out their own. You know what I mean? A lot of people sell out their own for fucking YouTube clicks. You know what I mean? So it could be that. So
Are there is gun ownership allowed in Britain and the UK?
unfortunately not. But
What
you
about
can.
now? I've heard you can't even have. Is there a place in Europe or around the area you can't even have a knife?
Well, it's illegal to walk around with a knife, but you got to think England is a known place for stabbings. Do you know what I mean? So like London's a known place for stabbings. So stabbings is more common than shooting in the UK. Do you know what I'm
So
saying?
shootings like never occur.
No,
If there's a
shootings do
shooting, it's
occur.
probably
No, shootings do occur. Shootings occur. Like sometimes you miss them. Sometimes you miss them just by, you know what I mean? You walk around the corner and it starts going off.
oh
They
wow.
do occur, but not. You got to think like I got one of my friends is from Little Rock. You understand? So when he tells me how it is down there, it's a different. Do you know what I mean? It's a different level
Yeah,
of
everybody has guns
yeah, like
down.
yeah, yeah. In London, we have every now and then it pops off. Don't get me wrong; it might be popping off here, whereas over there he's telling me it pops off in it. It goes off, but it's not. You know,
And you just trying to get gas station. You're just at the gas station anywhere.
mm,
Yeah, Little Rock is gutter gutter.
mm, mm.
Um, but you say they do stabbings over there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's illegal to have a knife
Yeah, that's probably
walking
why.
around.
Yeah, that's why there's more emphasis on because there's been a lot of there's always been stabbings in the UK, I suppose, but especially nowadays because you got all the drill going on. You remember UK drill is big. You understand?
So
You
what are they talking what they live, or are they just mostly capping at that
nah,
point?
nah,
How do you
well,
have drill music?
no, the UK drill. In all fairness, a lot of them are doing what a lot of them are doing what they're talking. But you know, some one guy has just got over 50 years in prison. Like people are getting 30s, 40s, 38 years. So people are talking what they live or talking what they've done, and that's it. So yeah, UK drill's a bit wild because it's almost like a trend. So it's like a trend for some youngsters, and it's like a sport. And they, you know, they'll run out with machetes and knives, and if they get hold of a guns. But yeah, so this goes on in the UK as well.
So they don't really talk about, do they rap more about the knives or do they talk about guns?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, both. Yeah, definitely. I mean,
And
do you know what it is in the UK? I think when people say there's not a lot of guns in the UK, there is. It's just like there's not guns everywhere in the UK. You understand? It's not like every single part of the UK has got a gun problem, but London has, Manchester has, Birmingham, the big cities have. You know what I mean? And certain parts of the big cities. So there's some parts of London where there's always shootings, like all the time. Like
is those would those be white areas or black areas? What kind of people live in the areas?
interesting. A lot of them.
I would think it would be white areas, surprisingly. My thing is I would think it would be easier for white people to get access to the guns.
No, what it is. No, what it is. Yeah, white people can get older guns. They just don't use them in the same way, probably. They might use them in a job. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They might use them for something or use them for they're not, you know, but don't get me wrong, when it comes to the drill culture, it is people of all races. Don't get me wrong, it's predominantly inner city use, but I know of places where, you know, a lot of the members are white, but they're mixed. Is to be white and black, or be white and Somali, white. You know what I mean? So it's just it's more on the postcode lines rather than racial lines. So it's not a case of like whites versus blacks or nothing like that. It is a postcode thing. You know what I mean? They don't race doesn't come into it at all.
Okay.
They bang for these guys bang for their postcode. You know what I mean? And whoever's part of it is part of it, regardless of your background.
That's interesting.
but it's wild at the same time. You know what I mean? It is wild because I've almost been caught in the middle on a few occasions. I've been, you know, been walking down the street and I'm caught in the middle, two rival gangs running at each other. You know what I mean? And I've just got out of the way, but it was an old lady. You know what I mean? Some old Jamaican lady.
Oh goodness! Wait, you you said you got out the way, but it was an old lady.
She got taken down to the floor. She got taken down. You know what I mean? There wasn't much you could do. Like it happened so quick. It happened so quick. I'm just walking down the road
Yes,
in my. I got my headphones on as well, probably listening to music, and I just
yes.
for a second I see a load of people running towards me, and it takes me a second to realize I need to get out of the way. And by the time I got out of the way, things are being, you know, things are being swung and things are being thrown around, and yeah, so it's one of those things you got to be careful with these because you could I could easily get thrown in the mix. They could all easily think I'm part of the rival gang, and that's it.
Oh,
So
easily. You're right.
and
You're
and
so right.
and,
And
and a
then
lot
especially they run off and you're still there. You're
exactly,
right. You
and a lot of cases, what you find in the this is another thing, yeah. A lot of times in the UK drill scene, a lot of people that get killed are not really
active
the
in the
intended
scene. They just
target.
bystanders.
They're not really the intended target in many cases. In a lot of cases, it's a bot's job. They've they've got the wrong guy, um, or they've got someone who, yeah, okay, he's in a different area to you, but you don't really know him. You've got no personal problem with him. You've just done it in the heat of the moment. So this is kind of what's happening. You know what I mean? But don't get me wrong. Musically, the UK drill scene is probably like the first time. Don't get me wrong, I've always listened to UK rap and stuff like that, right? But this is the first time where you bang UK rap and you're like, okay, you know what I mean? Now this sounds proper. Don't get me wrong, no disrespect to everyone else. There's loads of good music out there, so that's not me putting down anyone's music. But I feel like UK drill, it can compete with the US drill in that respect.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I think who like would you classify yourself as a UK drill
no way.
rapper
I'm
or
way too old. I'm way too old for that.
you're way too young?
That'd be crazy. If I was a driller, that would be crazy. It'd be like the maddest thing ever. Like, but
Some who are some rappers that you think could compete with American drill music?
so our biggest artists, they say Central C, but really Central C. The only reason they got him is because Digger D, who is also from it, went to school with Central C, but they're ops, yeah. Digger D, he's a big artist as well, but he is the real deal in terms of he's really outside. You know what I mean? He's been outside for a while, but he keeps going to prison. So the major labels, it's not as easy to work with him as it would be with Central C, who stays out of trouble.
Is the young man that you're talking about, Digga D, is he black or white?
He's black.
Okay,
He's black. Uh, yeah, he's Caribbean, I think. Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. Funnily enough,
Okay.
he's my friend. He's one of my friend's second cousin, which is crazy because you know
And
what I
is
mean.
he still cool with is he still cool with Central C?
I don't think so. They're not. They're kind of like enemies. Um. So yeah, but I don't. They make diss songs for each other and that, but I don't know how serious the beef is or whatever. But again,
Do
this
you
is
listen
this is
to
this is all from.
American hip hop?
Sorry.
Do you listen to American hip
Yeah,
hop?
I listen. That's what I'm saying. So with the UK rap, I've listened. I like UK rap, but I've never been able to. I've never felt like it competed with US hip hop. You understand? So even though it's been
Who
good
do you listen to currently? Like who are some of your
from the
current
US, from the
plays?
US, I haven't.
Sure.
I've who I've been listening to. Oh God, like the last thing I listened to from the US was probably like K Flock. Um, uh, I was listening to Nova Johnson, who is he's actually a rapper from Little Rock. So I was listening to
Okay,
him. I was
you're
listening to
really
him
into
today.
the underground scene.
Yeah,
You're
because
really, you really got you're very in touch with
yeah.
what's going on.
Well, it is my good friend Mel. He lives in the UK. He's been living in the UK for about over 10 years. So this guy Nova Johnson is his brother. So even though Nova Johnson lives over in Little Rock, he's always had his brother's always promoted his music here in the UK. So he's got a little
Okay,
bit of a
so
following as
Novar's
well.
getting a really he's very known in the UK because his
He's
brother's there.
underground, not he's even on the underground, not like he's not famous, like well, but he's got a good following here because
Has he ever done a show in the
he hasn't
UK?
been over here. We've been trying to
Oh,
sort it out. We've
good,
been trying to sort it out.
good. I'll have to check him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I listen, me, I listen to a lot of I listened to hip hop since I was 6. So I've been into like NWA from them times. I listen to a lot of
Bone Thugs and Harmony.
course, Bones Thugs. I supported Bones Thugs about I supported them. There was only Wishbone and Crazy Bone at the time, but I got to speak to Crazy Bone. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got to speak to Crazy Bone. Big up to Wishbone as well. You
Oh
can
yeah.
you can see Wishbone is the guy. Yeah, he's the muscle. Yeah, Wishbone is. Yeah, trust me. I realized at the time I was like, okay, Wishbone is the person. Yeah, who like.
And he's dark skinned. Wishbone was kind of dark, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cold.
he always came across as wise. He always came across and carried himself as kind of like
Of course,
quiet and wise
he is.
to me.
He is. You can tell he's one of them ones. Yeah, who he's got his radar switched on when he's out and about. You know what I mean? He ain't slipping. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, like about it. He
Yeah.
about it for real.
No, Bones Thugs are cool. Like Bones Thugs are one of my favorites, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Even to this day, even Busy Bone, I still follow Busy Bone. I still follow what he's been. I followed Busy Bone all the way through. Now he's signed. They're signed to Conor McGregor, which is wild
Okay.
because Conor McGregor is a madness because he's got himself a grape charge, didn't he? Recently,
Hmm.
yeah, he got himself a grape charge, and he don't seem to be. He got found guilty, and he had to pay up a load of money.
Yeah, a lot of people are losing money in that. And that again goes back to like the culture we talked about where growing up it was normalized. Who didn't see people, children getting whippings? Even it used to be a thing where they'd pull the willow leaves off the tree, the little,
Yeah,
the willow, the willow little thing, and it will cut the air. If you will, you'll hear it. It sounds like a little whip
of
as
course.
it goes through. And they would make the children pick their own switch from off the
Yeah,
tree that they
I mean, we had to fetch our own belt. You know what I mean? We had to fetch our own belt when we was younger. But you know what it is? What I've realized is the reason why we don't beat our kids, yeah, is because we don't enjoy it. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what it is. We don't enjoy it. Like, you know what I mean? To beat someone, you'd have to enjoy it. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
they definitely they did it for their enjoyment. It made
This
them
is
feel
this,
strong.
I'm not saying that about my parents. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, there must be a level of satisfaction. You get some level of satisfaction.
Yeah, you get to prove that's what you get. You get to be, and then if it was done to them, now they're reclaiming the power that was taken from them as a child when they were in the beating, when they were the one getting whipped. So that point when they get to whip on their children, it's a reclamation for them
Do,
of
yeah.
their
Do
power.
do you think this is something that they've inherited from slavery, from being beaten as
No,
slaves?
it's because no, it's not. It's a willing choice because you have children you didn't abuse. I didn't go on to abuse, and they have lots of other people like us that are coming into awareness. It's awareness now, like how even like with how you said somebody had got a rape charge. I think we were just discussing
Conor
somebody had got a
McGregor.
rape.
Yeah.
Yeah, Conor McGregor. And at one time, probably like back in the day with Dr. Dre and NWA. Remember when Dr. Dre put the alcohol on the girl, the bottle up, and um
He was
probably
doing
things
mad.
like that were normalized.
Well,
That wasn't.
the NWA, yeah, the real story of NWA is dark, man. Like there was some other thing, like I think MC Ren, he caught a grape charge, and they had to pay.
Yeah.
Apparently,
And there was even grooming amongst the young men like Danny
yeah,
Boy,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, of course, yeah,
there
yeah, yeah,
was grooming. There was male on male dominate. There was a lot of stuff going on, like
yeah,
you
and that's in
said.
Death Row Records.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and Death Row
yeah,
Records, and even going back, I think Dr. Dre and and Eazy-E were heavily connected too. They have history together.
yeah, yeah, they
Dr.
do,
Dre.
they do. Yeah, they do, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
because they
So that
started
that
NWA.
whole Yeah, there in that culture, in our culture, there was a lot of stuff that was seen and done openly, and there was a lot of stuff that is kept and not spoken about. There's things that are not to be spoken about, and I'm going against.
Do you,
I plan
do you
to
think
go
there's been
against all.
do you think there's been an undercurrent of it? Because you know about Africa Bambaataa, yeah, and the Zulu
Yeah.
man,
Oh yes, yes.
right?
African Bambaataa was a predator,
Yeah, so
and even Dr. York. If you want to go that route, do you know about Dr.
yeah,
York?
yeah, 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 of course, of course. At the end of the day, people are gonna have to. You know what it is? There's a lot of people that might, take offense because obviously there's loads of Nuwab. Not that I don't live in London no more, so I'm not around any Nuwabians or anything like that. But there's still followers of Dr. Z York. You see what I'm saying?
Are they young or old aged? Are they aging out? Are they older? Or are they young people involved
Boy,
in this?
it's been a while since I've seen him. So
I'm
I imagine,
thinking that the people that are still Nuwapians and things like that are probably, I'm thinking they're up in age. I'm thinking they're probably older.
yeah, old and mad. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because um, yeah, I used to see a couple. I used to see him in Brixton when I used to go around there. Um, but
How
yeah,
could you tell? Were they doing something to identify themselves or what was?
they was trying to sell the Holy Torah and trying to give out the Holy Torah. Yeah, I know
Okay.
I know my shit. Like I know who's who and what, you know what I mean. And so, but anything like that, anything even like Egyptologists and stuff like that, anything like that, I just think, mate, I can't I can't get into it. I just cannot.
Even like how you disregarded astrology, you have a good sense of filter. You have a good filter for filtering out garbage and things that you don't
Yeah.
need.
Yeah, it is. It's because it's like your soul in it. It's like trying to protect your soul from
Oh, you got to.
from
You
it's so
got
because it's so
to.
easy. It's so easy to do things which are like detrimental to your soul. So I could be sitting here smoking a spliff, and it's detrimental to my soul in a certain way. So that's one way. And then I could be on astrology. I could be, do you know what I mean? It could be into like, I don't know, tarot cards. I could be talking to some psychics or just doing some madness. Do you know what I mean? And then the more you do it, the more you get into it. It's just more and more craziness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's opening up doors.
Of
It
course,
opens up, yeah,
of
not
course.
good.
And this is another thing that's happened in the UK because people are so blind to it. They've created they've opened so many portals that
Oh yeah.
they've just mashed up their reality. You know what I mean? They've just destroyed their reality. And instead of stopping doing it, they just continue to do it and continue to make excuses for it.
There, yeah, the evil is becoming more forthcoming and not hiding itself. Like I believe they built some demonic statues over in Europe too. They've been building some very demonic and satanic statues
Yeah, yeah,
around.
they're into all of that. Like I said, it's a bit of a mad one here because most people don't go to church anymore. So most people are swaying towards like the new age, and that's all related.
Paganism.
Yeah, or whatever what they think is paganism, the made up fucking term. You know what I mean? A made up term, Eurocentric term. Do you know what I mean? Which basically a term which basically describes every single culture in the world before Christianity, before whatever Abrahamic religions, but then puts literally the UK at the top of this pyramid. You know what I mean? Because it's like the epicenter of paganism is literally in the UK. That's the homeland of it. So when people are sitting there going, all the pagan sites that everyone, Stonehenge and all this shit, it's all in the UK.
Yeah, the
And
Vatican.
and look, well, that's the real, that's the real, because remember,
That's the real Satan seed. That's like
yeah,
Satan seed.
but these people don't realize that what they're doing is Satanism. Remember, they're convinced that it's not Satanism, so they can't
Yeah,
go to
because
the Vatican because
yeah,
it would blow the cover.
Catholicism is a slow, hidden outworking like of black magic. It's
Of course
very
it is.
slow and it's very hidden
Mm,
and
mm,
step by step. So people don't really ingrain what they're doing. And there's a few religions like that where it's really just witchcraft broken down very, very slow
mm,
and kind of compartmentalized.
mm. Where my mum's side of the family from Dominica, it's Catholic country. So that side of the family is Catholic, yeah. And Dominica is also known in the Caribbean, yeah, having not the most amount of witches, but the highest ratio. You understand? So it's one of them
Yeah.
places. Yeah.
And
I'm not even gonna.
Catholicism, or any kind of like watered down, lukewarm Christianity, it pairs so nicely because it hides the witchcraft in plain sight.
Yeah, because
So I know for my family, and they were full of abusers. They love to hide behind a Christian facade.
okay. Were they all Christian, your
Mhm.
family?
They called
Were,
themselves Christian.
what kind of Christian were they? Like Pentecostal or like Methodist or?
I was probably like my great grandmother, who was probably like her name was Ethel Louise, and she was, I'm sure she was a narcissist and abusive parent that passed down a lot of trauma. um but she was like on the board of ushers and like wearing all white. She was very esteemed in her old church. I don't know what kind of church it was, probably
Yeah.
like a Baptist of some sort.
Okay.
um
And
but I
she was participating in this abuse.
Oh yeah, and witchcraft and incest
Yeah.
and siding
Bloody
with and
hell.
protecting abusers
Yeah.
under the guise of that's family or that's still your mother. Yeah. And even the abuse that she did to her children, all of them. Anytime, in fact, it's simple where when I see that hypocrisy, um, or that lukewarm, when I like, for instance, even like those chain mail letters that people might send about God,
Yeah.
insincere Christianity is very much a red flag to me because I know people use it a lot to cover up other things. And that's where so many people hide from
Mm.
from
Yeah.
different things they don't want to address.
Well, I've had someone that I know come out recently and speak out on people who we all went church with when we were younger. Do you see what I'm saying? And I don't want to say too much on there because that's their business, you know what I mean? But that's what's
But
come out.
somebody has spoken out about a church
Yeah, they're
member,
gonna
and they
do.
were,
They're.
oh, 100%. They
I'm
hide
not
out,
saying
and then
nothing because they're gonna do their thing. Yeah, they're gonna
the
do.
church protects the church
Well,
protects them.
this is the thing. I don't know too much at the moment because I'm not sure what has come to the surface, but apparently it's on its way out anyway. So I'm just.
But
But
the thing is, my thoughts on that is that the church protects and sanctions it, because if they were really of God,
of course,
wouldn't you see the predator sitting in your pew? And like, I know I would be led to say something like, uh,
I think this
if
is the
I
thing that I think a lot of churches do protect their congregation, and I think what would happen is that instead of getting the person arrested, they'd probably like pray for the person, and the
yeah,
person
that's
might be
definitely the
forgiven.
That's
So
definitely. They'll say stuff like we need to be more loving.
yeah,
They'll just try, and they may even try to curb the abusers. Um, behavior, but we know that's not going to be effective. But they'll say something, they'll preach those little messages like, if anyone should harm a little one of these, it would be better that they were thrown into cast into the sea with a millstone around their neck. They'll give surface level platitudes, but like if you're a real prophet or a seer, you should be able to identify and call CPS. Okay, I see some stuff now. My spidey senses are tuned, and I'm going to be trying to get the survivor some help. But churches don't do that. They treat the survivor and the perpetrator as equals. Like we all just have to love one another and forgive one another and be long suffering. You see what I'm saying?
yeah. The problem with churches is that another, again, like the truthers in the UK, the churches are another place where they don't like the truth to be spoken. So this is the problem. Like as much as, don't get me wrong, I've heard many, Christian people say the right thing, and it's all good until they hear what they don't want to hear, and then it's like, well, this is what I'm saying, mate, and it's like, this is why I tend not to really speak to people about the Bible and stuff anymore.
You
To the
shouldn't,
point,
yeah, because if they wanted to know, they would have got the truth for themselves.
yeah,
And you're right, because I've heard people say, like, a little Catholic, it could be an old Catholic church lady, the sweetest little thing. But if you try to tell her something about idolatry or something, she'll be ready to slit your throat. I've
yeah, yeah.
heard
Well, there we
cases
go. There we
like,
go. So because it's just religion, because they've just been religiously indoctrinated, and that's the problem. They have to separate their religious indoctrination from decoding the information. You know what I mean? So rather than, yeah, you're cool. You can jump around with a tambourine as much as you want. That's all good, you know. So, but don't get caught up in, don't get lost in the source, and don't start dismissing information. You know what I mean? Because it's all good when you know enough information, then you won't have to keep
yeah,
searching
you
for
can't.
information.
You can't dismiss the truth
Yeah,
because of an emotion, because of the way it makes your emotions feel.
basically, yeah, exactly, and that's what a lot of people struggle to understand. They,
Yeah, even when it comes down to like these allegations coming out against like Connor and all these other
yeah,
different
yeah.
people, it's like people are like, but I like him. So I
Mm,
can't believe that. He makes good
mm,
music. I like the way his songs make me feel. Or they're hesitant to believe the truth because of the way the person that the truth is spoken about makes them feel.
well, yeah, and a lot of them don't want to. To be honest, like a lot of the people I grew up listening to have been a letdown. So even R. Kelly, I remember buying R. Kelly's music when I was like a teenager, thinking I was
Yes.
cool, thinking I was cool. I got a new R. Kelly single on
Hmm.
set, right? But look at R. Kelly now, and it's like same with No, I know it sounds bad to
Puff
say.
Daddy. All of them.
I was never a Puff Daddy fan though. I was never. This is what I'm saying. When Puff Daddy came about, I'd already been. You remember, I've been listening to hip hop now for like 10 years already, or longer. So when Puff Daddy came about, I was already into Mob Deep, CNN, like hardcore West Coast stuff, like
Hmm.
Dog Pound, um, Drew Down. So Puff Daddy for me, I used to look at that like I only really liked it. I only listened to him for Biggie. Do you know what I mean? And the Locks. I didn't really listen
Yeah,
to
a
him.
lot of people saw through him.
Yeah, I went into
And
Puffy.
couldn't really. He was more like a Quincy Jones type where he just curated the artist. He didn't
Yeah,
really perform. He was more
yeah.
like a Quincy.
Basically, yeah. He was pretty much, wasn't he mentored by Quincy? He was
Yes, he
mentored,
was.
wasn't he? And
Yeah.
yeah, I think, yeah, we won't even get into Quincy Jones. Start
Oh,
disrespecting
yeah.
the man, disrespected musical legacy with all the
Well,
allegations.
they say don't meet your heroes. They said you
Yeah,
don't want to.
Yeah, shout out to Mob Deep. Yeah,
And
mate.
that's another one that hit the one, who was it that died from Mod Deep? Was it
Prodigy.
the
Now, big
guy
up
who,
Prodigy. Big him up. Prodigy was,
yeah, Prodigy, his death, his passing was kind of weird
of
because
course.
he was on that podcast called Drink Champs
Yeah.
right before he left. And a lot of people that go on Drink Champs have ended up passing away after shooting that podcast. It was really strange.
Seriously.
It's called Drink Champs.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Gangsta Boo went on there before she. A lot of people were on.
Gangsta Boo, right?
Yeah,
She
from
got
3 6 Mafia.
yeah, I know her, I know. She got the jab, didn't she? She was
I don't know.
vaccinated. She was
Oh well, there
she
you
was
have
did
it.
she was talking madness online, talking about the vaccinated should be locked up. I'll find I need to find the link, something like that. She was talking some sort of talk, and yeah. So
Since when do Black people care about being vaccinated
mate,
when they don't like? We don't even go to the dentist. Like
what
we barely got insurance. Like, what are you talking about? Black
what
people
Black
barely
people
have insurance.
see we black people
And
we care about nothing but the check. That's what we care about is the check. Yeah. So this is what people have to understand. No matter what you see us doing, what you see us saying on TV, it don't matter what we're saying. Just know we wanted that check, and that was it.
oh, you're
You know
so
what I mean?
right. That is
So
so right. And
even if we're
that
even if we're talking about God, you know what I mean? Even if we're on this like Creflo Dollar or someone like that, we're talking about whatever. We're just doing it for the money. So that's all people have to understand. And we need and you know what? You can't blame us. You can't blame us. We need that fucking, do you know what I mean? We need that fucking bag. You know what I mean? So
yeah, when you keep a person suppressed for so
mhm,
long, and that goes back to, like, the families and the parents creating vulnerable people. And it's not just the isolated, we didn't get to this place all on our own, but the repression and the setbacks make it so, yeah, we have to be all about the almighty
yeah,
dollar for sure.
of course. People can't
Yeah.
even see what this at this point in civilization, yeah, people can't even be questioning our morals anymore. Yeah, you just got to let us get the money. You know what I mean? Just let whoever's getting the money, let them get the money because we ain't got time to be fucking about now. We have to, you know what I mean? At this point, we have to, you got to think about the next generation, innit? If you got kids, you got to think about your kids. They might be having kids in the next 10, 15 years anyway. You can have grandkids. Do you know what I mean? So right now, you got to do it. Don't sell your soul, obviously. Do you know what I mean? Don't sell your soul. You know what I mean? But you
But
got
yeah, you got to try to a person should the mindset should be on, you know, kind of recouping some of that wealth, especially going forward. And hopefully you can do it in a way that pertains to life, you
that's
know, that and when you do that, it's more sustainable. If the things that are damaging are not like selling drugs
exactly.
and pimping, it's not, those are not
No,
sustainable
no,
business models.
not at all.
But the ones that bring healing and that are good, those are they're the business, it's more lucrative and more sustainable. And I've even found that good legal money is more profitable than the street money.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Because no one can touch it. No one can take it from you. And no one can, you know, yeah. And you can,
Yeah.
and like I
You
said,
can put it on paper, you can get an apartment or a
mm,
house and have it, rather than like street money and illegal money goes through your hands so fast. Everything, you got to pay people, you got to rent a spot, rent a car,
mm.
rent a.
Like I said for a long time, being a criminal in this day and age, it's the wrong time to do it
Oh,
because
yes, you
back
got to be going legit. You're so right. It's time to transfer over.
back in the day, even in the UK, you see them old school gangsters in the UK. Cool, they did a few armed robberies here and there, but you know they were good. You know they were good. They had their shit sorted. Nowadays, you see people running around selling drugs, making money, losing it, getting locked up. It's
In
chaotic.
the business model, the world isn't set up for that anymore. The way that
No.
they track the money, the way that the
Mm.
camera systems are set up, it's kind of just like with beating your child, child abuse and all that, protecting secrecy.
Mm-mm.
Um, those are outdated. Those are outdated programs
They
that
are.
drug dealing and gang banging, pimping and prostitution. They're old, outdated
It,
mechanisms.
it is true because we're moving into a different, when moving into the stage where everything's going to be technological, and a lot of these things it's going to be very hard for you to even keep up. Right now they are doing the online pimping and all that, but it's taken a lot of money out of it as well. Do you know what I mean? The value's gone down, you know.
Exactly. And the stakes are high when the
Mm,
men and whatnot, the pimps, they get found. It's very the penalties are high. So you have to either learn how to set up a digital platform.
mm,
It's making the people elevate their thinking, whereas you can't necessarily be a hands-on pimp. Now you need to set up, you're gonna have to know how to set up a website. You know
mm.
what I'm saying? Or
Of
an
course,
app.
of course.
It's forcing you have to be smarter about it.
Mm, mm.
The o- the
What did you
old
think?
way.
What did you think? Charlie Kirk? Yeah,
Yeah,
he said black people was better off in slavery, right? What did you think of
that's
his
what he
comment?
said.
Something like that, along the lines. He didn't mean they were better off. He meant they were. I think he said they were better off, morally
They were
wise,
taken care of better.
not taken care of. He means they were morally doing better. Moral. I don't know something. I got to get the clip up or something. There was a lot of drama about it anyway. But people
Well,
different.
I would say this. Probably in slavery, I think there would probably be less abortion because
Yeah.
that would have been money. So the
Hmm.
slave owners you wouldn't have been able probably to be killing your baby like that. I don't I Now they may have went on if there was defects and whatnot, but most likely they would want to keep those children for slaves. So I think there would have probably been less
Yeah.
abortion
I
probably.
I don't think abortion was something that was really. It would have been practiced in secret. Maybe it wasn't something that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't something that was like done
And
physically.
it probably would have been, the numbers would have been far more lower. So in that aspect, I
Yeah.
think that would have been an advantage.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, what are some other advantages of slavery? Um, I
I
almost want to say, would the diet have been better when you were really working the ground and you could harvest turnips and carrots and whatnot? I wonder if the dietary, because in the food deserts here, the food is pretty bad, like hot Cheetos and
mm, mm,
pickled pig lips, and you know,
yeah.
I don't know, like I'm thinking of some ways that people could have benefited. Of course, I don't believe that. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I think anybody's better off free than
Yeah, of course.
enslaved. But now that question is irrelevant because the slavery and the effects of slavery have already been done. So you can't say, oh, they were better in slavery because now we're already suffering
Yeah.
the abuse. Like
Yeah.
it would have been better had we never been enslaved,
Yeah.
would be a more accurate um kind of phrase. I would think would be better if we never were enslaved at all because the damage is already done. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if we're in the hands of the abuser or not.
Yeah. But when you say, because what they say is that after slavery stopped, especially in
Then
America.
we did experience, that was the greatest time of
Yeah.
economic
So
success
that,
Black
yeah,
people
so
have
this is
ever
what was
had.
happening. Naturally, remember we there was a lot of land, a lot of people was farming,
Okay.
and
So what I'm wondering, if what you're saying is Black people were better off during segregation. And if you ask me if it was during yes, Black people are
yeah,
better off
yeah.
during
We yeah, of
segregation.
course, yeah. But that's just economically, it made sense. It made sense during, they were making, they had more money going
And
around
not
basically.
only that, nowadays, if a Black person opens up a business, the Black people don't want to shop there. They don't want to support them. They don't want to see somebody that
Yeah,
looks like them
that's
doing
why
better than them.
if you're a black person, you got to open a business somewhere else. Like you can't put your own. Like, don't get me wrong, yeah, it's good to support black businesses, yeah, but then at the same
Hmm.
time, when you're on the receiving end, yeah, it's not good to gamble your children's livelihood on an idealist, something which is idealistic. Do you know what I mean? Something that you want it to work, but you can't guarantee it's going to work. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you was in the Indian community, for instance, you could probably do it and make it work. It's a bit difficult nowadays because exactly like you said, if you do open a shop, if I open a shop in a black area, you know what I'd do? I'd stick an Indian man behind the counter and I'd sit
So
back.
they don't know what color
Sit
the
back and
owner is.
count
Yeah,
their
you've
money.
got to hide.
Yeah, I'd sit back and count their money. You know, I wouldn't
And you're right.
be the face of it.
The Black people are more apt to shop with a foreigner than somebody that looks like them. And if they shop with somebody that looks like them, they're going to criticize everything.
Because this comes from after segregation.
And in Africa, they don't trust, like they'll say, they won't believe it if a Black person says something to them. But if a white man says the very same thing the Black person says, they'll believe it from a white.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. That's how you know, what do you call it? Mental colonization works. Is when you colonize the mind. Do you know what I mean? And that's what they've done. They've went to Africa, the French, the Dutch, not the Dutch so much, the French, the Portuguese, the British, and Germans, and they went and the Dutch as well in South Africa, and they colonized the minds of the people, you know. But at the same time, they, you know, they knew that the people didn't know better at the time, so they were easy targets. Do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that they don't tell us what they were doing in Africa. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of, because remember, it wasn't just the Arabs had been there before. Do you know what I mean? So the Arabs had been in West Africa before. Do you know what I mean? They had influenced the area in a certain way as well. So, but
yes, yeah. Wow, this has been really, really a great talk that we've had here.
It has. We should probably wrap it up. It's almost 11:30.
Yes, yeah.
But we'll definitely do more. Trust me.
It's been wonderful. It's been such an honor, Tara. Thank you so much for having me.
No worries. It was cool, man. You know what it is? I haven't even got through like half the points I wanted to get through. So we definitely have to do.
Oh yeah. I would love to come on again. Thank you so much for having me.
No worries. Thank you for coming on. Don't worry. I'm going to have fun chopping this up.
Oh, good. I can't wait to see.
That's going to be the next week. That's the next week's work.
Take your time. Take your time. Thank you so much, Tara.
No worries. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.